Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we are going to make this 3D website using Three.js, React 3 Fiverr, and for animations we are going to use Motion. Along with that we are going to use some more libraries which I'll tell you later in this video. So let's start making this website. But before that, let me show you the small preview of this website. Right now we are at the hero section of our page. First let me refresh it, and you can see this comes with an animation, and let's scroll it down. This is our award section, then this is our project section. For this I have used React Spring and Motion both, and if you click on any of these you will get directed to the next website. And this is our technology section, which technology you use, and for this I have used Three.js and React Fiverr both. And here this is a poster, then your testimonial section, and lastly this is your contact section. And in this contact section I have used email.js for the email services, so that anyone can send you email using this website. One more thing here is this 3D model. For that we use the Three.js and React 3 Fiverr library, and also the model is made on the Blender. I'll show you and give you the file of this model so that you can use in your website, and yeah, you can play around with this. Now the first thing we are going to do is to choose our bundler. For that we are going to use Vite. So go to the Vite website and copy this command and open your terminal and paste it here and then run. Our project name will be 3D YouTube. Then I'm going to use React and then JavaScript. This will create a folder here carrying all the files that necessary, that is containing all the files that is necessary for our app. Now in order to run our app we'll have to run some more commands here, so let's run them as well. So first go to the file directory where you have created the app, so cd YouTube, and then after that run npm install. This will install all the packages in your that is here, and then after that simply run npm run tab. This will start a local host, so click on it, and this is a website you will get on your initial stage. In our website you can see the first thing we are going to make is this Navbar. So let's start creating that. Before that, let's install all the packages that we are going to use in this tutorial. For that, this is all the packages we are going to install. You can copy all these things from my repo. So after copy and pasting it here, and don't forget to save it, run npm install again in your terminal, and it will install all the packages that are listed here. This might take a while. After that we are going to install one more thing, which is our tailwind.css, which we are going to use for CSS in this tutorial. So go to the Tailwind website and get started, and go to the framework guide and choose Vite, and then copy these two commands, not these. So copy both of them and paste in your terminal. You have to click return 2 times and then again go here, and let's check all things are here. We also have to copy this as well and paste in the tailwind.config.js file, and then we have to go to the index.css and remove all these things, and then copy this and paste it. And now go here and remove all these things. And let's write something here for checking if it's working or not. Remove app.css file, we don't need that, and give it a class name text 3x. Yeah, so our tailwind is working fine. Now the next thing we have to do is add some CSS here as well. You can copy it from my repo as well. So this is all the CSS that we are going to need in the index.css file, and after that close it. And now the next step is to create a component in which we are going to add our Navbar component. So write components and set that we'll have a navbar dot.jsx. I'm going to use a shortcut key for generating the boilerplate and save it. And now go to the app.jsx section, and here I'm going to import a library which is import from the React Router DOM, and then here we are going to use that. And now let's go check our app. You can see the text color and the font is also changed, and our background is also changed. So everything is set up now. Our main.jsx, we don't need to change it. This will remain same, and this will also remain same. And all we have to do is work in the app.jsx and the component section. And now let's officially start making our navbar. So let's start by defining a state here. For that, write const is open, set is open, and then use state. We will take the default value false. This will be used for our hamburger menu. And then we will define another hook is top, set is top, and then use state false. And then we are going to write use effect function to check if the window is being scrolled down or not. So use effect, then define a function here, and inside that we call another function const handle scroll. A window dot scroll y is equals to 0. Then we are going to set is top true, and if window dot scroll y is not equal to 0, then we are going to set is top false, and then we are going to add the event listener here, which will be scroll, and it will call handle scroll function, and after that we are going to return it. Window dot remove event listener scroll, and we'll call same function again. So these two hooks are going to make our navbar responsive, as well as effect when we scroll down the color changes. Now let's start writing our JSX here. So we'll have a section here, and inside that section we'll have a div of class name. Change it to this form. Now we'll use a ternary operator. If it is top, then we'll render nothing, and if it's not top, then we'll have a background of 201934. Similarly, we'll have a MD PX16, and then we'll have SM of PX8. Width will be full, it will be fixed, navbar will be fixed, and then top 0, padding top 5, and padding bottom 5, and then we'll have a transition of duration of 300 milliseconds, and then inside this div will have a nav tag, which will have a class name, flex, item centers, and justify between, and then inside this nav will have an anchor tag, which will point to the slash, which will point to the home page, and then it will have a class name of W28, and inside that anchor tag we'll add image, our logo here, which will be set to 1.png. So after saving it, we can go here and see our logo is already here. And now below this anchor tag we'll have a div here, in which we'll have a class name. Change it to this form. If the window size is above LG, then we'll have a display of block, and we'll have a position absolute, it will take right 10, and LG relative, LG top of 0, transition all, and duration will be 100 milliseconds. It will have a ease in animation, and if is open, if this condition is true, then we will push this to below top of 50 pixels, otherwise it will be top minus 100 pixels. And now let's write inside this view. We'll have another list with a class name of flex. Text will be gray 300. Then if it's open, then we'll render flex col and space y5. And then if it's not true, then we'll have a flex of row which will have a space x6. Now inside this another list, we'll have our list which will contain a class name. If it's hovered, then text color will be changed to EC008C. Transition will be all. Duration will be 200 milliseconds, and it will have a async animation. Cursor will be pointer, and inside that list we'll have an anchor tag. And then inside of anchor tag we'll write. And now let's copy and paste it 4 more times. Oh, this one's. So if I save it and go here, you can see our menu here. And now if I inspect and you start this and start reducing the window size, you can see it goes up in top by 100 pixels if it is below 1024 pixels, which is LG. And the last thing that is left to do is to make our hamburger here. For that we are going to import hamburger from hamburger react, and below this div we'll have another div of class name LG hidden of block, and inside that div we'll use our hamburger. It will have some properties here, like toggled, it will be is open, and toggle it will take set is open, and then close the tag. And now if we go here and start reducing the size again, you can see our hamburger appears, and if I click on it, our menu slides down. Let me give some more space from top. So now it's looking fine. So our Navbar is ready, and this is the code. Now the next thing we are going to do is making our hero section. In our hero section, as you can see here, we have first left section which contains the text, and in the right section this contains the model. So we are going to first work on the models, then we are going to do this part. So I have made this model in the Blender. You can either make your own model by following some tutorials from YouTube, or you can just use mine. One thing you can notice that here this is mine. So if you want to have your name here, just click on it and click the tab button on your keyboard, and it will go in the edit mode, and then you can add your name as well, like YouTube. And again click tab to go to the object mode, and then save it. So you can do that by yourself, or you can make your own model. So after doing that, what you can do is go to the file and export it as a gltf 2.0 or glm.gltf. This particular thing you have to choose, and then you have to save it. So I'm going to save it as 2, and these are the settings that is here. I'm going to use gltf finally dot. I'm going to use this format. Remember export. Don't need to change anything here, and then just click on the export. And now if I go to my folder, here you can see my glb file. This is, now we cannot use this file directly in our VS Code, so we first need to change it into the JSX format, which will give the array of the all coordinates that is used here. So we need this kind of file here. So the first work we have to do here is to change this file into this file. So for that you can terminal and go to the directory where this file is located. So I'm in this directory, and this directory contains these files, and the file we are interested in is website asset2.glb. Now to change this file into JSX, we need to run a command here, which is npx gltf JSX. Then write the file name that you want to convert, which is a website asset2.glb. Now press return, and it will start. What is wrong? Oh, I miss S. So again, copy this. Now press return, and it will start generating all the files. And here you can see we got 2 files. One is not correct, and this one is the correct. If I open it, you can see all our coordinates being listed here, and this is what we wanted. So just copy this and go to the asset components and paste that file here. So now we have this website asset2.jsx, and this will be used to render a model in the browser. Let's make some changes here. So I'm going to import use frame from React 3 fiber, and then import effect composer SSAO and bloom from React 3 post processing, and then import motion from framer motion. So this is the packages we are going to use here. So first change the name here. I'm going to change it as hero display, and inside that function we'll have a which will use ref, and then we are going to define some variants here for our framer motion. variants, and this will be like initially it will have x minus 201, y minus 100, and z will be minus 300, and it will have a rotation of rotate y of minus 45 multiply with ma, which math dot pi divided by y. So this will be the initial angle of the model, and this will be the coordinate after animation. So our animation is rotate, and it will have x 0, y 0, and z 0, and it will have a rotation of this and change to. So this is the variant we are going to use here, and after that we are also going to use frame so that it's keep. So we are going to use frame for that. Use frame, and inside that we'll have a state as a prop, and we'll define a constant t, which will be state dot clock dot get elapsed time, and then ref dot current. So this is the current value of rotation of the model. So in the z direction we'll add 1 plus math dot sine 1.5 divided by 50, and similarly for x and y, for y will be minus 15, 5, and it will be divided by 20, and we won't have x. So, and now let's use the motion that we have imported here so that we can use this variant in that component. For that, let me make some space here, and here to use the frame of motion, first you need to add motion in front of your mesh or group. So here I'm adding this, and after that we'll pass the ref, which will be ref, and inside the motion we'll have the initial condition, which will take the initial value, and in the animate section we'll have the rotate value, and then we'll also have transition of duration 1, and after that we are going to choose our variant. So our variants will be variants. So this is all we need for our animation. And one more thing that we have to do here is we are going to add some effect composers here. Behind this table there is a light which you might not see right now, but if you go to the model I can show you. This is the light. So right now I'm going to add the effect composer to that particular geometry so that it can glow more. So below this mesh we'll have our effect composer. So effect composer, inside that we'll have our blue, and then which will have a SS. So when we use bloom, the model gets a little bit blurry. So to remove that, we use SS hero, and that's all. Set is ready. I just have to import in our hero section. So let's make a hero section here, hero, and inside that we will write hero dot jsx. Let's import in the app.jsx. So first let's use suspense here, and then import hero. For the fallback, we'll use null, and below the suspense we'll also use one more component, that is loader. So import loader from, I guess I'll write it, create 3 fiber. Now in the hero section and inside the div, we'll have a class name with w11 by 12 md mt 20 lgpt 0, otherwise pt will be 20, and then md mb 40, okay, and then mb will be 20, mx auto to make it simple, and md grid calls to lg w10 by 12, z will be 0, it will have a display flex item center, and then flex call reverse, and inside that div will have one more div with a class name of flex call justify center, and then inside the div we'll have a component called left part, in which will render our in which we'll have our text component, and then below this div we'll have another div of class name lg h 600 pixels md h 400 pixels w full and h 400 pixels. Don't miss any of these because both are important. If you miss, it will not render in the mobile. So then after that will you have w full flex item center justify center, that's all, and then we'll write part. Now let's make other two components here. So left part .jsx, and then right part .jsx rafce and rafce and let's go here to check if everything's okay or not. We have like a problem here. Oh, I think import left part and then import right part, and now you can see our Navbar here. This is the two parts. Now let's go to the right part here and start working on our model. So in the right part we'll have a canvas which will be from React 3 fiber. Then we also have, so these are the imports that we need here, and nothing is wrong right now. And now let's remove this and use this, and inside that we'll have a canvas. Now inside the canvas we'll have a ambient light with a intensity of 2, and then we'll have also a spotlight with a position 25, 20 and 10. And then we'll have our hero display, and then we'll use the perspective camera from DRE and we'll make it default, and we'll adjust the position to 12, 2 and 22. And for the orbit controller we'll decide some parameters here, like minimum azimuthal angle will be minus. First we'll have a minimum azimuthal angle which will be math.pi divided by 6, it will be minus. And for the maximum azimuthal angle we'll have math.pi divided by 6. And if we go here, you can see our model. One more thing I forgot to tell you, that y should be -5 not 0. So now you can see our model here, but you can see there is some bright spots here which should not be there. For that we'll use effect composers, and in that we'll use bloom, which will have luminous threshold 0 and luminous and smoothing of 0.9, and then it will have a height of 300 and intensity of 0.5, and then we'll have SSO for removing any blur effect from the model. So now you can see there is no bright spots here, and our model is ready. Yeah, you can see. Now the second thing we have to do is go to the left part and start making that as well. So in left part, only thing we have to import is motion from frame of motion. Will inside the function will have some variants. First variant name will be container, in which hidden opacity will be 0, opacity will be 0, and show will have opacity of 1, and then transition of stagger children of 0.3, and then after that we'll make another variant for items in which hidden will be opacity 0, and then x30, and in show will have opacity to 1, and then x to 0, and in transition will have type spring, comma. So remove this, and in the div will have a class name relative md margin top of 0 and margin top of 16, and inside that we'll have motion dot div, and inside the motion of div we'll use our variants here. So first variants will be variant the container, and then initial will be hidden, and animate will be show, and give us a class name of, and inside that div will have some more divs. So first will be motion dot p, and inside that we'll have a variant here. Variants will be item, and class name will be pink text gradient, and here let's write hi there. Now let's go and check it here. Yeah, so the color is applied, and if I, so you can see a little bit animation. Let me write all the, then you can see the animation more clearly. So next, below this motion.p we'll have another motion.h1, and inside that we'll, and in motion.h we'll have our variants is equals to item, and then class name is equals to xl text 5xl, md text 3xl, and text 3xl. Similarly, below this motion.h1 now outside this motion.div we'll have one more div motion dot div, and in this div we'll have a class name of w32 h10 margin of 16, background of EC008C, and then hover BG pink 600 transition or all with Asian animation duration will be 200 milliseconds. It will have a rounded axle, and then flex item center, justified center, and cursor pointer. And after that we'll have initial is equals to opacity 0, and then animate opacity 1, and it will have a transition of delay 1.2, and inside that div will have a p tag hire me. Outside this div will have a paragraph section, motion .p, and inside that paragraph will use this line, paste here, and change the delay to 1. Now add a class name here, class name with text 12 pixels, italic, and margin in vertical direction is 5, W80, text purple 300, like this. So now if we go here, you can see our left part is also ready. Now refresh it, and I don't see any animation. Look, let me check here. There should be. Now if I refresh it, you can see the animation. And now check its responsivity. I want to correct something, that there should be a Z index of 40 in the navbar. I forgot to add it here. Now let's check its responsivity. So yeah, it's responsive as well. So now let's work on the next section, which is about section. So now make another component here, which is about, and inside that write about dot jsx rafe, and let's add it here as well. As you can see, about is here, and now let's start coding it as well. Use animation and motion from framer motion, and then import use view, use in view from React intersection observer. And now in the about function, make a control, use animation, then define a state here which is ref in view, and it is going to use in view. Then we are going to use effect in view is true. Then we are going to control start dot show. This use effect will depends on the controls and in view. Now let's make our variant here. So const image variant is equals to hidden opacity is 0 and scale is 0, and in show opacity is 1 and scale is 1. Now in the return, remove this about, and in the div add a class name of relative XL minus margin top 30 pixel, then MD margin top 100 pixel, MT 10 pixel, and LG W10 by 12 10 by 12, W11 by 12, and margin in X direction is auto. Also I'll give a ID of about, and now inside that div we'll have another div of class name grid MD grid dot calls slash grid calls 1 MD W full W11 -12 MX auto, and inside that div we'll have a frame of motion dot div, and in that div we'll use ref is equals to ref, and then initial will be hidden, and animate will be controls, and variant will be image variant, and then transition will be duration of 0.8, delay of 0.5, 0.71, 0.2, and 1.01. So here controls is just controlling the window. If this section is in view of the window, then it will start animating, otherwise it will not animate. So after that, in the motion.div we'll add a class name here, image wrapper MD block and hidden. Instead that we'll have our image which is class which is image.jpg, then a class name of max w 600 pixels. Now if I save and go here, there is some error, I think. Use animations. I think I messed some spellings here. This should not be S. Yeah. And now here you can see our below this div we'll add two more components here, which is text and then spot, and let's make these two components here as well. So text.jsx and spot.jsx. RFCE, remove this one as, and RFCE, and about import spot and import text. Let's work on the text first. So for in the text we'll import icon here, so which is GI, and then here import motion from frame of motion. Define some variants here. So go to the hero section and then left part and copy this, and go to the text and paste here. So these two we are going to use again. And now here change this to motion div, and viewport as once is true, and then initial is hidden, animate is, and then while in view we'll have show, then class name. Inside that div we'll have one more div, motion dot div, and then we'll use variants is equals to item, and then class name will bg gradient to r from hashtag 8f145t to hashtag bd for a inline block MB6, and now inside that we'll have a paragraph in which it will have a class name of P1. Inside that we'll write more about me. And outside this motion.div we'll have motion dot motion dot h1 with variants is equals to item, and class name is equals to text 3xl, font medium, and leading of 10. This is the line height, and memory is 5. And now inside that, then br lg block, then hidden, and after that we'll have a span of class name pink text gradient and what. So if I save and go here, you can see these two animations. You can see these two parts. You can see these two here. And now below that, motion.p, and inside that we'll have a class name of text sm text neutral, and variants is equals to item. And now write a text here and save it. And now go down and add one more motion dot div is equals to grid calls to gap 5, margin top 10, and inside that div will have simple divs of class name grid calls 1 and gap 2. Now one more div here with class name icon, and inside that div will have GI heart with size of 24 and class name text pink 500, and close it. Similarly below that we'll have one more div inside h1 tag modern design, and then a p tag with class name text 10 pixel text neutral 400, and inside that p. And now just copy this one and duplicate it and change the icon here. And now if I save it, we can go here and refresh it. We can see our about section is almost ready. Now the only thing is left to add the spots here. For that I have used blobs. You can create blobs from here, a blob maker. From blob maker you can create blob and use that SVG to our project. So in our sport.jsx, so I'm going to use all that blobs which I have already downloaded here. Blob 1, blob 2, blob 5. You can get that from my repo. So let's start Here we are going to use effect, and then use animation here as well. So let's just copy it from, and now inside the spot at const item for the container, let's go here and not here, here, and copy this and paste here, and also copy these as well. This is all we need to do here. Now here change this div to motion dot div, and then we'll have our variant here, which is container initial. Let me just copy this from here as well. So this, and I'm going on variant is container here, container controls, animate is controls, and initial is hidden, and wrap is wrap, and transition we don't need right now here. So inside that div, now we are going to have our SVGs here. So the first SVG is this. Copy this and bring it here and change it to motion.svg. Now after that you will need ref is equals to ref and all these three. Just change the variant to items, and after that add a class name here, absolute w5 left 4 and bottom 6, and if I save it and go here, you can see one of our SVGs here. Similarly you can do for others, and now if I save it, these are all the blobs that we are required. I want you to correct something here. We don't want curly braces here but here, so add it here and now save it so that we can see our navbar without color here, and if I scroll down then color will appear. Let's start making our project section, which is this. Let me refresh it and show you this cool animation, and if you hover over it, this will act like this. And so now we are going to make this. For that, make a folder about projects and then a file project.jsx RAFCE. Here I'm going to use motion from frame of motion, and also I'm going to use spring and animated from here. Let's define some constant for our hover effect. So I'm going to have here x, y and s, and this function will return a CSS which is of 600 pixels, another function which is calculation. This will take two parameters x and y, and then return y divided by 50 and x divided by 50 and 1.1. And now inside the project component we'll have a constant of image count is equals to 9. Then we'll have const spring config is equals to mass, which will be 5, tension will be 350, and friction will be 40. After that, const image props will be an array which will have a length image count, and then a function const props set is equals to use spring in which xys will be 0, 0, 1 respectively, and then config will be spring config. This should be wrapped around this. And now outside this we'll return the function with props and set. And now let me go to the hero section and copy these two and paste here, and remove this X part. Add one more property here, which is scale. Initially it will be 0 and then finally it will be 1. Now let's start our JSX part. So first we'll have a div with class name of w11 by 12 md w10 by 12, and then mx auto and margin top of 32, margin bottom of 40. Nice. And also let's give a ID of projects. Inside that div we'll have one more div with a class name of text center, and then margin bottom will be 20, and inside that we'll have a span of class name border bottom 2 text for Excel, text pink text gradient, and then border pink 600, and inside that span we'll have projects. Now below span write a div with a class name of margin top 5 text Excel, text neutral 200, and now inside that write now. Let's save it and see here. This is we got. So there should be a small braces here, so replace that. And one more thing, there should be only X and Y. So after that, if I save it and go here and refresh it, you can see our image is popping up, and if I hover over it, it's animating. And now if I click it, it's directing to the next website. So now our project page is also ready. Here I notice one thing, that if we go to the inspect mode and try reducing its size, it's looking good, but if I refresh it again, it's not rendering. I think there is some problem with that. So to solve it, we can make another file here calling project mobile.jsx, and in here we'll just copy it, this one, and paste it here, and we'll make some changes. So the first thing we want to change is remove this part, and then we are also going to remove this, and after that remove this motion.div, remove this part, and also this, and here as well remove this. And then in image we can remove this as well, and that as well. And now let's add it to the app.jsx. We'll use a ternary operator here. So let's make a state here is desktop, set is desktop, and it will use state, and then inside that we'll have default value window dot inner width greater than 768. And now below that we'll use effect to find out the width of the window size. So here define a function handles size, and then set is desktop window dot inner width greater than 716. We'll add our event listener resize and handle resize, and then we'll return the function in which we'll remove the event listener. And now here our project, we are going to use this conditions. So is desktop is true, then we'll render the project. Suspense, fallback, null, and here we'll render our project. and if it is not true, then we'll render our project mobile. Now go here again and change the name of this function, project mobile, and project mobile, and here, and import it here, import project mobile, and now save it. And now if I reduce the size of the window and refresh it, it's already pre-rendered. And with that, our project section is ready, and now we are going to work on the technology section. We used here 3 fiber and some materials, so let's get started. So let's make this as well. So for that, make another folder called Technologies, and again Technologies.jsx RAFCE, and let's import it here. And add it here as well. Technologies. Now for the technology section, these are the packages that we require, and after that let's make a function here, function props, and inside that we'll have our mesh, which will use that, and here we'll define 2 states, set hover and set active, and after that we will have our textures here, which will be an array, and these are the all textures that we are going to use. For using these as a texture, we are using used textures from DRE, and below that we'll write texture is equal to textures props dot index, and now below that we'll return our function with a mesh, and inside mesh we'll pass all the props, we'll spread it out, and then we'll wrap is equals to mesh, and then scale when active we'll scale it to 1.8, otherwise it will be scaled to 1.3, otherwise should be column. And in next line we'll have on click, in which we'll define the function which will set it active to true to its opposite value, and on point hover we'll have a function which will call the set hover to true, and on point we'll have a function which will set hover to false. Let's make it boxes, yeah, because we are already importing box, we cannot have the same name. And now inside the mesh we are going to have box geometry, and its arcs will be 3, 3, 3. This will be the size of the box, and after that we'll add our mesh material, standard material, which will map over all the textures. So textures, texture, color, and after that flat shading will be true, and then roughness will be 1 and metalness will be 0, and then close it. And now below that we'll define one more function, and its name will be 3content, and it will return this. In that we'll have a ambient light, then point light of position 5,5,5, and then we'll have a perspective camera and make it default, and position will be 5,3,10, and then we'll have our orbit controller, which we will copy from our hero section. Yes. And paste here, and remove this part and write enable zooming, which will be false. And now inside the technologies we'll have a array of boxes which will contain all the positions of each individual box. So these are all the positions of each individual boxes. Total we have 11 boxes. So these are the individual positions. You can see the positions are same, but the index is different. Inside the div we'll have a class name of MD W10/12 MX auto, and then W11/12 and PY10, and then it will have a ID of technologies. Inside that div we'll have another div and another div, which will have a class name BG gradient 2 R. Then and after that we'll have inline block and margin bottom of 6, and inside that div we'll have a h2 tag, which will have a class name of text 3xl and padding of 1, and it will have technologies. I save it and go here. This is looking something like that, and after that outside that div will have a paragraph tag of class name italic text neutral of 300, then margin top of -7 pixel, and inside that p tag we'll write technologies that I work on. And now outside this div we'll have one more div, class name of grid Excel grid calls 7 MD grid calls 5 and sm grid calls 3 4 and grid calls 3, and inside that we'll have our boxes dot map box, then index. After that we'll have our function here. Inside that we'll have a motion dot div, and then inside that div we'll pass the key which take index, and initial will be hidden, opacity 0 and x 100, and then viewport will be once true, then amount is 0.5, then while in view we'll have opacity of 1 and x is 0. Now we'll and then we'll have a transition of duration 0.6. Inside that let's use suspense, and in that suspense we'll have our canvas. Inside that canvas we'll have our three content, and then boxes, and their position will be box dot position, and its position will be box dot position, and index will be box dot index. And now let's save it and check if it's working or not. So it's look like we have a problem here. I think this should be perspective camera. Let me write it again. Perspective camera. Yeah. Our technology section is also ready. If you click on it, it gets bigger. You can rotate it to a certain extent, and if I refresh it, it comes with an animation, I think. Yeah, so everything is right here. You can play around with these values if you want. You can also add some rotations here, which will keeps on going, like here we are using. And after that, let's work on the next section, which is our poster. So for that, make a component here, poster. Actually we don't make a folder, so write poster.jsx. So here we are, and write RAFCE, and let's add it here, poster. Let's check if it's here or not. It's here. So these are the packages we require. We need a icon for React icons and a frame of motion. Now inside the poster, we'll directly going to write the JSX. So change it to motion.div, and then we'll add our initial will be opacity will be 0, and then it will be in y direction of 100, and then viewport once true and amount is 0.5, and while in view we'll have opacity of 1 and y of 0, and we'll also have a transition of duration of 0.6, and then we'll have a class name empty of w10/12 mx auto w11/12, and then orange pink gradient, and then margin top will be 20, margin bottom will be 20, and MD will be block, otherwise it will be hidden. Inside that div we'll have another div of class name grid sm grid calls to and p8, and now I have one more div of class name w10/12 mx auto, then flex call, justify center, and axle text 4 axle and text 3 axle, and inside that we'll have our span, in which I'm going to write I am as a label, and then span. We'll have one more div of class name flex call, and then justify center, and then we'll have a p tag of class name excel text 13 pixel, then text 10 pixel, then w10/12 and margin bottom of 5, lower than 20, and below this p tag we'll have one more div of class name w32 h10, and then flex item center, justify center, bg white, rounded full, and inside this div we'll have anchor tag, which will refer to the contact section, and then it will have a class name text hashtag 301934, and then flex item center, justify between, and axle text base and text 13 pixel. And now inside that anchor tag have hire me, then we will have our icon here, and just save it. And now if we go here, this is looking like this. I think we make this should be T and E as well. Yeah. So after that we are going to work on the next section, which is the testimonial section. So let's make one more component here, testimonials, and testimonials.csx and RAFCE. Let's import it here. Technologies. Now to make our testimonial section, we'll use useref, and then I'm going to import motion from FrameMotion. Now let's start writing our JSX. So the first thing it's going to have is ID, testimonials, and then a class name, MD W10 by 12, W11 by 12, MX Auto, and PY 10, and MB 32. Now inside that div we'll have our motion.div, and inside that div we'll write initial to this, we put this, and transition will be 0.6. And after that we'll add a class name here of powder B2, and then text 4xl, pink text gradient, and then inline block, border pink 600, and margin bottom of 20. Now inside this div, and inside this we'll have a s2 tag, and we'll have a class name of p2, and then testimonials. And now let's write, and now outside this motion.div we'll have one more div and class name W10 by 12, MX Auto, then div and a class name grid sm, grid calls 1, md grid calls 2, and gap is 10. And now inside this div we'll have a motion, and inside that we'll copy this and paste here, and change this to x and this x as well. And now inside this, and then we'll add a class name here of border to border neutral of 400, then rounded axle p2 relative text center, and inside this we'll have a p tag of class name text sm mb8 mt4 w10 by 12, and mx auto text neutral 300, And here we'll have a h1 tag with a class name of empty2 text xfill blue text gradient, and then in the next line we'll have a paragraph tag of a class name mb6 mt1 text sm italic, then text neutral 400. Inside that p tag we'll write web developer, and below that we'll add an image here. So div and class name w10 h10 absolute top 100%, then left 50%, translate in the x direction with 50% or minus 50%, and translate in y direction with minus 50%. And inside that div will have image, the img, and it will have client 1.jpg. Now class name of w full h full rounded full object cover object center. That's all. Now if I save and go here, that's I loaded 2 times of technologies, so that's why we are getting that error. Now let's see our testimonials. Yeah, I think we have some problem here. Now if we go, you can see our one of the testimonial is ready. Similarly, I'm going to copy and paste it some more times and change the values. So this is all the testimonial we have. Now I'm going to here, and you can see our testimonial is already here. Let me change this full set. So this should be 1 and 1, this should be 2. Yeah, and now if I refresh it, you can see the animation both comes from their sides. And now our testimonial page is also ready, and the only thing is left to do is make our contact page. So let's make that as well. Contact, then contact.jsx rafce, and let's import it here. So import contact and paste here. Now let's go here and see. Let's see. So in contact page we are going to use email.js, and yeah. So this is the email.js website. You need to create a free account here to get the services of this website. I have already created a free account, and this is my after login you can see this interface to your window. And now here we have to do two things. First, add a new service and make a new email template. To make a new service, click on this and choose the personal services. I'm going to choose Gmail and then create the service. And also you have to connect your account, and after creating you will get something like this. And now let's create an email template here. To create an email template, click on this and you will get something like this in your window as well. So you can make your template like this, or you can just copy mine as well. And after that, click on the save button. And now let's go here and let's start coding. So here I'm going to use useref, and then going to import email JS from /browser, and then import motion from framer motion. And now inside the contact page, create a form using useref, and it will have nothing here. And then create a const send email function, which will take a as a prop, and then inside that function. And after writing this, you can go here and click on the docs and scroll down, and here you can see React. Now simply copy this and paste it here, and make some changes here, like after console at e.target dot reset. And in this function you have to add 3 IDs which you will get from here. So the first ID which you will have to add here is your services. So this is the one, so copy this and paste here. Then your template ID, go here and let me delete it. So open any of these and go to the setting and copy the template ID as well and paste it here. After that, and lastly, go to your profile and copy this public key as well and paste here. So we have set up our email.js, and then we are going to make some variants here. Const variants, copy and paste here and change it to 100. And now let's start writing the JSX. Inside that div, and in this div let's add a class name of margin 20, ID of contact. And inside that we'll have one more div with a class name of mdw 10/12, and then w 10/12 mx auto. And in the next line add one more div with class name of pink text gradient, then inline block and margin bottom of 12. And inside that we can have a s2 tag of class name text for Excel p2 px1, and then write contact me. Now below this div we'll have one more div of class name MD 8x12 W full MX auto, and inside that we will add a motion.div. Let's go to testimonials and copy these, and then add a class name of text 2xl text white and margin bottom of 5. Inside this div write get in touch. So if I save and go here, refresh it, go down, and here you can see our get in touch. Here should be W8 by 12. And now next continue writing our code. So below that we'll have a paragraph tag of class name text Excel text neutral 200, then MB5, and it will write my email, then span of class name italic text MSM text neutral 400, and right here test@gmail.com. Now below that p tag we can have a motion dot form, and this form will refer form, then text, then on submit it will start the send email function, and it will have variants of container, and then copy these two from here. And in action it will have an empty, then we'll have a class name of border to border neutral 700 Excel and P of 8. And inside that we can have a motion.div which can have a variant of item and a class name of grid sm grid calls 2 and grid calls 1 sm gap 20 and gap 6. Inside that we'll have one more div in which we'll have which will have a class name of flex call and space y4. Then we will write label, and it will have your name, and then input type text, and then it will also have placeholder. Let's name anything, Edward. Then it will have required true, and then name is equals to name, and add a class name over here, w full h10 text black bg white px2 carrot pink 600, then rounded dozen, and copy this and paste again, and here change your name to your email, and then test@gmail.com, and this is user email, and remove the caret from here. And now outside this motion.div we'll have one more motion.div. Inside this motion.div we'll have our variant to item, and then class name of flex call mp10, and now add label over and add label here, so label, and inside that write message, and then text area, and change the column to 20 and this to 8. And write required true, then Indian in name write message, and then add a class name of bg white text black e4 mp4 and rounded md. Outside this motion div we'll have motion button, which will have variant of item, class name of bg pink 700, and hover bg pink 600, transition all is in duration of 200 milliseconds, px32 py3 mt10 rounded full, and in this write submit. And now let's save and go check it here. Our form is ready. If I refresh it, you can see it comes with an animation, and it's responsive as well. Now let's send something. So I can write full stack developer test with gmail.com and write test email, and now send. Now it's empty again. Let's go and check it here if we received it. Yeah, so you got a message from full stack development test, and this is the test email. So it is working as well. So let's go up again and see our full website. Let's go to the about section, then project section, then technologies, then testimonials, then contact me. I think we made some mistake here. This should be small. And now if I click on it, we get the contact section. So everything is working fine. Thanks for watching.